Hello, Mr. John Eveleth. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Bob. And
Well,
how are you?
I'm here at our beach place, and we love it here. We get out and walk, get fresh air, and relax. That's the biggest thing. It just helps us relax. And where are you right now?
Well, I am right now at home, in which I live in over here by Puyallup, Washington. So, and the sun has been out a little bit, but it's starting to get cloudy again and stuff. So they've been talking about rain starting to come back again. So, but it's been nice. We know that the rain's coming again, but that's okay.
Well, this is a lot of fun, John, because you and I have known each other a long time, and we talk on the phone, but we don't get to see each other. So this is like sitting
Oh,
across the table. Pretty cool.
yes.
Okay, so we're doing a little. We're practicing, but we're doing a live broadcast that's being recorded here, and I thought we could just talk about, how we got started, and so maybe you could share with me how you originally, way back, got started in network marketing.
Okay. Yeah, it actually originally got started. Actually, I think the first time I ever got approached by somebody was back in the mid '80s, and
Okay.
I didn't really realize that. And but a guy from, I don't know what business he was from, but he approached me about some business, and I was like in my mid 20s and stuff like that, or early 20s, and he was telling me about this and that about some business, and he even took me a ride in his expensive car that he had. I think he had a Mercedes or something like that, and wanted to talk and about what he was doing. But at that time, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for this business that he was wanting to do. So I was like, I didn't really wasn't, like you said. You got to be it's got to be at the right time, and it wasn't the right time for me. I think I was still going to school, and I maybe getting to the point where I was looking to try to just get a job, So it just wasn't for me right at the time. So anyway, I kind of did the job thing for a long time. Went from different jobs. I actually have a degree in forestry technology from Green River Community College, and I did that for a little bit. But I was looking for a permanent position in that, and wanted to work in the woods for a living, but it just didn't really work out because of the spotted owl thing that was going around. So I basically started looking for other avenues for jobs, and started looking into maintenance, and also looking into just something that was well, like right now I work in a casino, so I help clean the casino, but it's just like doing maintenance type work because I don't have to like I've done previous jobs, work for other people, and to help other people in an aspect of taking care of them. And so I wasn't really much into that, but anyway, when it comes down to it, is I did different jobs. I was kind of a jack of all trades, I guess, when it came to that point. And then I think it was about in the '90s I got approached again about another business from my friend, and he was telling me about it, and it was actually Amway, and that back then they still called it Amway, and he even took me to a couple of business meetings and stuff like that, and when it came down to where they were asking me for money, I was like, I don't know about this. I was still not ready. Didn't want to. I told my friend it's great and fine, maybe it's good for you, but I just, I'm not ready for this. I don't want to have to find some money to start some business. And so I continued on into working, the job. But I think it was probably where it really started kicking in was I started getting older. I was 39 years old, and I was at that point where I was wanting to do something different. I started getting tired of I guess you would say, the corporate world, or the job thing, and so I basically just had to really. I started searching, and I started looking at other options. And then in my mind, I guess it was opening up more than it used to. And so a friend of mine approached me about network marketing again. Not a friend, actually, it wasn't a friend. It was a guy that was in Illinois that was approached me through, I guess, back then when we early internet, and so we basically just got um, uh, talking about it, and I was more open-minded about it. And then I found out the business was XL Communications back then, and got me involved with it. And then he was so far away over where he was at that we were always communicating through the phone. But he found another representative that lived around here, so I got connected with him. And then that's how it started. That's how all of this started for me. It was in 2001 when I finally made a decision to start exploring network marketing. And I like the idea of being my own boss and hearing about the financial and time freedom thing. It was a totally different thing for me. I just didn't think it was, I didn't have anything that was holding me back. And then plus I just, was just getting ready to get married too with Janet. So, and at that time, at least, I had a partner in my life at that time, and she was, she was kind of reluctant at first because she'd been in Amway herself. But I explained to her, says, it's something that I always had in my blood, because my dad, when I was growing up, he was always wanting to get into some type of business when I was a kid, and I didn't realize that he was the one that kind of reminded me of what he used to always do. He was always looking into magazines and how to make money and things like that, and I thought, well, that's must where that came from. It's just because he was always wanting to expand himself and be more his own owner of his own business, and I thought, well, that must be where I learned that from, because a lot of times you learn behavior from your own parents, and so I figured that kind of out, and I said, well, that's probably where it came from, is from him. So anyway, I continued on with that, and I've been in several different companies.
Let's fast forward, because you were about to say you've been in several different companies, and I know you've had several different jobs. Let's fast forward now. You actually get a residual check in unlimited profits, and it's not much yet, but to start. And talk a little bit about unlimited profits, and how you got started, and what you see as the future for you and for others in unlimited profits.
Okay. Yeah, I looked at it. I mean, I've worked with you. I mean, I actually spoke with you, Bob. And that's how we got to know each other. I think it was in 2008, 2009, when you approached me, and you thought I was a certain gentleman that was from I guess Oregon, and you thought I was that person, and then you find out it wasn't that person. But I mean, I remember that when you approached me about that, and then you approached me about the travel business, and then also with Gano XL, and but anyway, when it came down to when the unlimited profits start kicking in, I think it was around about 2009, 2010, somewhere around there, and I started looking at that. It was a lot more, because it was a lot, it came down to where unlimited profits was different. It was about personal development, and it was about improving your business, I guess you would say your business mindset, or even your mindset of where you're at, and then making it even more serious about doing this kind of business. And but it was something that really I really liked about it, and I didn't even get out of it. I mean, I was a free member for a while, and then I decided to to really look into it more, and I kept on seeing all on the internet, and because I was keeping track with you guys of what you guys were always doing, and I was seeing the things that are happening with unlimited profits, and eventually success in minutes, and it finally was just like going, man, you guys are going somewhere with this, and I decided to really take a better look at it, and for me, I think it was an eye opener. I really had to take a look at it more deeply and said, well, let's just I decided. I talked to Robert about it, Robert Hollis, and he said, you need to get serious if you want to get serious. And basically, I think we talked about it too, Bob, when here last, it was about, I think, September, October. We really talked about it, and he said, either you're going to do something. And I was always jumping from business to business and stuff like that, and you know how that mindset is. You think you're going to chase after something and get it, but it's something that you have to just stick with. And I thought, well, I need to stick with just one thing and just do it. And I talked to Janet about it, and I said, this is probably the thing that I just got to do, is just stick with this. Get the personal development, you know, do the pro trainings and learn from somebody that knows more about making money than you know, chasing around companies that you think you're going to make money with. And so I really had to take a really good look at it. And plus, you know, as being a Christian too, I had to pray. And I said, Lord, is this the thing that I'm supposed to do? And you know, he basically said yes. It's what you need to do to improve yourself and to be a better businessman. You know, to be someone that can support your family. And even Janet, you know, she's approaching her retirement age, and she's wanting to do more things other than just go to work all the time. And you know, and I think it's my turn that I have to go and do the thing about, you know, doing this and being serious about it. And I've actually been going through the pro trainings, and I've learned a lot, you know, and a lot of personal development in that, you know, and going through the days, you know, 1 through 21. And I learned a lot. I thought, wow, this is amazing how this is, you know, and I was getting excited too, because once this is getting going, then I can really, you know, especially connect with you, Bob, and being my sponsor and stuff, and say, let's, you know, I need to get serious. And so I'm excited, and I'm just ready to go. I've been talking to Dory and getting Dory revved up too. You know, she's telling me that she's been looking at something like this since 1999. So I was like, okay, we're in the right place with the right people.
That's wonderful, John. And I thank you for the kind of things you're saying about me. I just think that if I did anything, I'd just put you in front of it and put you in front of Robert. One of the things I like about Robert, he has that saying, documentation beats conversation.
Yes.
And there are a lot of leaders in a lot of companies that are good. But one thing about Robert is, if he's on the phone with one of them, he'll say, what have you done for your team? You know, how many people have you helped make a living? Now, you know, Robert's got a track record of over 40 people that make over $1 million a year. And, of course, Robert has made millions in the industry himself. But when you start looking at the numbers of people that he's helped make a full-time income, so they could, like Janet could retire early. And what does that mean to a person to be able to match their income? And that's one of the things I like about Robert, is he's so humble and generous that he wants that for everybody. He hasn't had a job since he hurt himself at work. That was 25 plus years ago. Mm-hmm. And so he's had that freedom to come and go, and which is what you're talking about that Janet wants. And of course, I know you want that. You like to go out and play with the dogs, and I know you got a lot of Native American events that you like to go to and travel and so forth. And I think you still like to be out in the woods. There's a lot to do up in the area where you live. A lot of camping and hiking and so forth, fishing. And if you wanted to work out there, I'm sure it's because you really like the outdoors and wanted to be out there more. You'd have to, because otherwise being out in the rain it can get cold and wet. But I thank you so much. Well, you know, I've watched you change over the time that I've known you, and I haven't been able to see you or be with you. We've never really met in person.
Yeah.
But I think you can see how this new technology could help you and I get to know each other better. And it's a way that you can reach out around the world and get to know people where otherwise, like you said, you know, it's a lot different when you're just talking on the phone, or when you have a sponsor that is, you know, all the way in the middle, you know, in the middle states, you know, in the Midwest, that you might never meet. So, you know, thanks to Robert, we have access to the, you know, different new technologies. This is where I've learned mine, has been from him. Well, you know, I know you're getting a regular check, and I know you want more, and I know you're really excited. have you got some dreams that you could tell me about that you think once your income reaches a certain point, you could begin to experience some of the dreams you've had all your life? What's one that comes to mind that you could tell me about?
Uh, well, one of my dreams, I always posted on Facebook a lot, and and that came because, I mean, I grew up poor, and I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I grew up in my mom and dad were farm laborers and stuff, so I never really had a lot when I grew up, but they provided me with a lot of love, and they were able to take care of me and raise me and stuff. So, but I mean, I seen, my life is not so materialistic as I used to be when I was younger, and but there's one of the dreams I wanted to have is a log home, one of the luxurious log homes. I'd love to have one of those because that's, that kind of, describes me as being outdoorsy too. So I was like, because having a log home and then be able to share it not just with, Janet and myself, but friends and family, and big enough to have people come over and stay and to say, let's, come over and spend the week with us or something, and be that open to our house for people. And that's, one of the things I would love to do, to be more connected with people, especially when it comes down to, this business and even our Christian life too, with the ministries that we're involved with too. So, yeah, we're just, and that's one of the dreams. And probably the other dreams I've been thinking about too is, we've talked about it too, Bob, is helping natives that are especially on reservations that are struggling, with poverty, and a lot of them, there's a lot of them that would like to do more in their lives, and they're not caught up in the drugs and alcohol on the reservations, but they just can't move any further up because they're just stuck where they're at in the res. We call it the res as natives, and on the reservations, it's tough for them to move forward, and they don't have the resources. And one of the people I can describe is my brother. He lives up in Canada. He's on limited income, and I talked to him about the things that I like to do is even help him, to even have a nice car or even have a home to live in. That would be the things I'd like to help. As like my brother. I've met him a couple times, but I'm finding out that he's my blood brother, and I wasn't raised with him either, but to get to know him and stuff like that, he's a really neat person, and plus it would just be fun to help people to realize that they could have a dream too and be able to achieve those dreams by helping them, And so there's a couple of dreams that I can talk about right there that I really think about a lot.
I remember that when I first met you, we started talking about what you might want out of life. You had a hard time even thinking that way. That it was even a possibility that you could have things like that. And I've seen a big change in you over the last year. And now, just again, it's my opinion, but I feel like you're on the way there, and that it is becoming a reality, and things are falling into place for you. And that's a complete change of attitude from when I first met you. And so I want to compliment you for that. You've been diligent in studying and learning this and following Robert, and it truly has made you a different person. And I know you have a huge heart for people on the reservations, the res, as you call it. And there are people like that everywhere. They may not be trapped on the res, but they're trapped in their thinking.
Yeah.
You've broken, even though you weren't on the res, you had to go through, breaking out of your old thinking, and you're a different person, which is a wonderful thing. And I do believe you will go on and help a lot of people. But one thing that's good about Unlimited Profits is because anywhere there's high-speed internet, which is high-speed internet is now penetrating the reservations. For a long time, you would go there and even cell phones wouldn't work over there, right?
Right.
Okay. So things are changing, and and this is a way that you can help them, and I think that's a wonderful thing. Well, we've been talking about you all this time, but did you have any questions you want to ask me? I'm happy to answer any questions. We're doing this as a joint interview. I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, I was always kind of interested in how you and Robert Hollis actually met. I mean, I heard some stuff, but I didn't really know much of the details how that happened. So I was wondering how you and Robert met.
Okay. Well, it's a funny thing how we actually met, because you were in Excel Telecommunications, so you can appreciate I was in ACN.
Yeah.
And I was in a situation where the person that sponsored me didn't have any experience in network marketing, and the person that sponsored them had tremendous experience, but they were the kind of people that they recruited hundreds of people, and they never helped them. They just signed people up. You know what I'm talking about? They were just a good recruiter, and so I wasn't getting any at first. My career took off, but then it got flat. It just wasn't going anywhere, and I realized I had to find a leader. And so I kept going upline, and so the upline of that person was a really good leader, but he got incarcerated for something his partner did, and he was going to be in there a year, and so I kept thinking, well, I got to find somebody. So I went to an ACN meeting, a big meeting, and I heard that the founders of ACN, the two of them, had been recruited and trained in network marketing by a guy named Robert Hollis. They kept talking about him all the time, what they'd learned from him, and what a good mentor he was, and how many resources he shared with them, and all their training came from him. So I said, I want to meet this guy. Well, he wasn't even in ACN, but then later he joined, and I heard he was going to be at a meeting in California, and I went down from Oregon to California. I was at that meeting, and Robert went across the stage to accept an award, and when he came down off the stage, I went up to him, and I said, "You're Robert Hollis." He said, "Yes, I am." And I introduced myself, and I said, "I've heard that you have, helped train a lot of people, especially some of the co-founders of ACN." And he laughed and said, "Yeah, some people say that." And I said, "Well, I'm just wondering if I could just spend a few minutes with you, and I really need some help." And to make a long story short, I wanted to learn how to help nonprofit organizations use ACN for fundraising. And he had done a lot of that. So that's how we met. He said, "Well, listen, we're busy here right now, but why don't we get together later?" And we did, and he opened up his whole file of overhead slides that he used to present to nonprofit organizations as to make money in network marketing as fundraising. And I said, "Wow, that's ingenious in the way he had it set up." And it was very specific ideas and method and everything, all in a presentation that he would give to the board of a nonprofit. I said, "Wow, I can't believe you let me see that." And he said, "Well, see it here. Take it with you. Take it with you, and you can go over to a copy place, and you can make copies. You can duplicate the whole program." And I said, "What?" You see, I'd never had anybody offer. I was a complete stranger to him.
Yeah.
And he was so generous that he offered to let me take that out of his house, and so that's how we met. And of course, I copied it and went on to use it to help organizations raise money. And Robert and I just became friends immediately because he was just such a neat guy. And so that's how we originally met, because I knew I had to get the answers, because I wasn't going anywhere. And once I began to follow his trainings, which at that time there was no unlimited profits, there was no training system, but Robert was just constantly using his methods, and I just kept following him and trying to copy what he was doing. And I just put people in front of him and put people in front of him. And that's still what I do today, is put people in front of him. And I'm learning, but Robert Hollis is the bomb.
Yeah.
That's how we met.
No, that's cool. So anyway, that's pretty interesting story. I mean, I really like that. I've always been interested in how you guys met, but yeah, I was just wondering. I don't know. Since you got into network marketing, I guess. Have you been like? I guess you would say, how many companies have you been with? If you've been been doing this, or since you've been doing it.
Okay. Well, I can. I don't have them all on the tip of my tongue, but I would say 16 or 17 companies. Um, some of them I joined because the only way you could tell if they were any good was join them and study them from the inside. But but most of them I actually tried to make money, and I was very fortunate. I joined a couple of companies at the right time, and I did make money, and I did earn top positions, and I was very fortunate. Um, but the companies tended to change, and I didn't leave the companies because I really wanted to. It's because I feel like they left me because the values that I really see in Robert that he taught me about integrity and character, I thought were in some of these companies, but then they began to do things that showed they didn't have that kind of character and integrity. So I'd rather say no, the companies left me rather than I left them. This changes I saw. I think the biggest challenge in network marketing is not building a group. I think really that's relatively easy. But finding the right company where you can really buy in, where you can really wholeheartedly support the company and get excited, like you said, it's really hard to find a company like that. It really is. And I know this troubles a lot of people. Maybe it's one of those things that's in the back of their mind. But I have a saying: if your heart's not in it, your heart's not in it. It's
Mm.
kind of like when you go out for sports. If your heart's not in it, your heart's not in it. You know,
Yeah.
if you take music lessons, your mom says, well, I want you to take piano lessons, or I want you to take, and you go argue with her and say, well, if I got to do something, I'll play the guitar, you know? But if your heart's not in it, you're just not going to, if your passion's not there, it's not there. And it's hard to get passionate about something that you can't nail down. It's sort of a shifting kind of thing that's not certain, and that's what I ran into. Those things kept changing. And when somebody changes things or sort of pulls the rug out from under you, you get you get apprehensive about really putting all your efforts out. And I think what Robert has taught me, and he teaches us, is it's not about the company, it's about you, it's about John, who John is becoming. Success is about attracting success to you. It's about you growing, and I've watched you grow, and I think that's one of the things I like about Unlimited Profits is it facilitates a person growing like that in their thinking, which leads to having other people join the team. Uh, of course, to make money, but to be part of an organization where everybody cares for each other in that same way. We all want to help each other make that. So that's what's happened. It's been an interesting career. Now, some of those companies went under. One went under when I was the number one money earner in the company. Went under. So you can imagine what that's like. I had another one where I was on my way to being the number one money earner, and it went under. And they weren't bad companies. I don't know what happened, but they're just not around anymore. And so it's a challenge to find a company. One thing I can say about Unlimited Profits, been around since 2001, done in Bradstreet rated, been in profit since day one, literally. Now going global. It's really exciting to be a part of something that's that well rooted, and has helped that many people. Listen, I don't know. You got one last question, and then we probably should wrap it up.
Okay. uh, well, probably since you've been doing this, and unlimited profits and whatever else you've been doing. I mean, you probably still have more dreams to meet and stuff like that. So but you probably met some of your dreams that you've had. So, um, do you have anything else that's probably, you know, maybe a lot bigger than what you thought is maybe coming over the horizon for you?
Well, in my mind, I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
Um, we're very blessed. My wife and I are very blessed. We have um, some land where we are building a dream home, and we've done a lot of planning. It's a country home with a porch that goes all the way around it. Not very big, you know, but a view literally from all sides, and we're excited about that. But like you said earlier, it's not just about material things. And one of the things that we like to do, like you, we like to help people, and we like to see people that want to turn their lives around health-wise. And so, like you, we are thinking about having places where people can come and detoxify from stress and from the wrong kind of food, and all the the pollution in the air and the water and all of that. So we have some dreams about building some spa resorts where people could come and just detoxify. I don't know any other better word to say it. That might be a month, it might be 2 months, but it would give them a chance to completely rejuvenate their physical bodies, and at the same time we would want to have a sort of an educational channel, so to speak, where the different theories on health and on cooking and natural foods and different kinds of therapies could be brought in where they could study that if they wanted to. Not everybody wants to learn about getting healthier, but some people do, and that would be available to them. It would all be part of a package deal. So that's that's one of the dreams that we have. And we also love to travel, and we love Port Townsend, which is up close to where you are, and it is a Victorian seaport, and it's in the shadow of Mount Olympus, and so the weather is mild as far as the Northwest goes. Beautiful place, and we'd love to go there. So we like to travel, and maybe one of our spa resorts might be up there someday. So that's sort of the thinking that we have. In order to have a big dream, you can have a little dream and try to get your income. The problem that most people have, excuse me, is they try to make their budget. They have big dreams, but they think more about decreasing the size of their dream than they do about increasing their budget. Let's put it that way. And we just keep having bigger and bigger dreams, and I think our budget is growing and growing and growing. So that's my thinking, is that because Unlimited Profits has, by definition, unlimited income potential, I don't see any reason why we can't reach our dreams in this and be able to help a lot of people, which we love to do at the same time. So
that's good.
Well, John, this has been a lot of fun. You're learning how to use the technology, and we're going to produce something here that you can share with people, and by sharing it, give them a taste of what the company's like. And I think that's pretty cool. I think we need to do some more of these.
Oh yeah. I'm very excited about how this is. I've already had one with you, and then one with Robert, and one with Scott Kloster. So it's starting to build up the list now. So I'm pretty excited about how this is going.
When we get off of this one, I'm gonna just walk you through how you set one up, and then you'll be able to see exactly how to do it. So somebody had to show me, believe it or not, I can be technically stupid sometimes, and somebody had to show me exactly the steps to do it. I'm happy to do that. So, but God bless, and the next time we do this, we got to do it at a time when both you and Janet can get on at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be exciting. She'd love to really, get to see you and talk to you, basically face to face with you here on this, and she'd be excited. I mean, Robert wants to do the same thing too. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's stop the broadcast, and thank you so much, John. But stay on with me, okay?
Okay.